I'd argue that the Queen Mary 2 is the most special and unique ship that you can travel on today. The ship entered service in 2004 and was the first true transatlantic liner built in a generation. She replaced the iconic and famous QE2 on the North Atlantic Passage, and today is the only actual ocean liner in service. But I'm not here to talk to you about her ocean liner credentials that you can find in plenty of other videos on my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the things that make Queen Mary 2 absolutely unique and special, and why you should travel on board the ship as soon as possible. Number 5 has to be the Queen's Room on board the ship, and this is Queen Mary 2's ballroom. Now, Queen Mary 2's ballroom is the largest ballroom at sea, and it actually has the largest dance floor to ever go to sea. Queen Mary 2 has a remarkable full-sized ballroom from port to starboard, located just aft of the main Britannia Restaurant. This space can be a little bit difficult to find sometimes because you do have to take the very hidden Deck 3L to get there. So you hear a lot of people saying, I don't know where the ballroom is, but once you found it, you'll never forget how to get there. It's actually quite easy once you know how. But the point is that the ballroom is this amazing space that's actually a huge amount of space on board the ship dedicated to what is essentially a non-revenue raising part of the vessel. Because here you can access afternoon tea free of charge during the cruise every afternoon, where you get white glove service and there's a harpist playing on the dance floor, beautiful sandwiches, cakes, and of course scones, which makes it really, really special. And then in the evenings there's ballroom dancing, and the Queen Mary 2 even has its own orchestra, the Queen's Room Orchestra, which plays here each night and allows anyone who wants to dance on the dance floor. Now, if you love dancing and you're traveling by yourself, there are dance hosts available on board who will dance with you, and you can dance the night away. Afterwards, you can head even further aft into the ship's nightclub, but the Queen's Room ballroom really is a stunning space, and it just looks spectacular when you walk in there. Number 4, the Canyon Ranch Spa Club on board the ship. And yes, of course, now it's run by Mariel, but it was designed by Canyon Ranch. This is a massive complex on deck 7 of the ship, and it's quite unique and special. And the big key point here is that it was designed by a world-class spa operator, which is really, really interesting because it makes the Queen Mary 2 spa offering stand out amongst all the other ships that I've been on at least. Queen Mary 2's spa complex not only contains the usual treatment rooms and therapy rooms that you might expect, but it has a huge and very impressive hydrotherapy pool. This is like nothing I've ever seen on a cruise ship before, and it makes Queen Mary 2 as an ocean liner stand out with this amazing complex. The hydrotherapy pool is huge, and there's various different treatment offerings within the pool area, from jets that blast down and relax the muscles on your back to beautiful areas where you can just lay and enjoy the bubbles. It's a massive space, and it allows you to have a really relaxing time. Number 3 for me is the Ship of State dining room, the Britannia dining room. Now, this is a really interesting space on board the ship because it's a 3-story tall main dining room that rivals the best Ship of State dining rooms that you would have found on any of the world's flagships back in the era of the ocean liner. When passenger ships were built back in the era where ocean liners ruled the waves, they were symbols of their nation's might and prowess. So you had all sorts of design and beautiful interior elements built into these ships to showcase the nations which had built them. And one of the spaces that you'd find this showcased the most was on the first class dining rooms. These dining rooms were considered to be Ship of State dining rooms. They were wonderful places where the best of that country, the best of Britain, the best of France, the best of Germany would be on display. Queen Mary 2 has her own version of this. The main dining room, however, on ships of old was mainly reserved for first class passengers. Second and third class had their own dining rooms, whereas on Queen Mary 2, this magnificent space is available for all passengers to enjoy. This means that no matter what cabin category you have, from the smallest inside cabin to the largest suite, you can dine for free as part of your cruise in the Britannia Restaurant. Now, if you're in the high suites on board the ship, you will get access to the grills restaurants on board, which are very nice but don't have the same grandeur in terms of their internal design as the Britannia dining room, but you can choose to come and eat here if you wish to. Now, the Britannia dining room is a 3-story venue and has a 2 sort of level setup accessible from deck 2 and deck 3, but it also bypasses deck 3L, which allows passengers to walk from the forward end of the ship through the dining room without interrupting diners, and then exit out the aft towards the Queen's Room. This means that this space is actually much bigger than it looks like on the deck plans, and has this magnificent tapestry on the aft wall that depicts a bit of a blend between Queen Mary and Queen Mary 2, set against the New York skyscrapers and bridges. So it's a wonderful space that has this real ambience, this real atmosphere that is not really recreated anywhere else. And although the other Cunard ships do have a Britannia Restaurant, nothing quite compares to the Britannia Restaurant on Queen Mary 2. Number 2 for me is the ship's planetarium, Illuminations, and this is a remarkable space. It was the first planetarium to ever go to sea, and it's still the largest planetarium to ever be put on a passenger ship. Now, the planetarium on board is a mixed-use venue because not only is it a planetarium, but it also shows 3D movies, normal cinema movies, and also is the venue for lectures. So this is where I perform when I do my maritime history speeches on board the Queen Mary 2. Illuminations is another area that is not a revenue generating space on board the ship, but it takes up a lot of space. Access to the planetarium is free. Access to the movies are free. Access to the lecturers are free. So it comes as part of your cruise. And this is wonderful. It's one of the things that makes the Cunard experience so special, particularly on board this ship, is that once you've bought the ticket to go on board the ship, you have access to these wonderful experiences without this extra cover charge that they're putting on so many other cruise ships out there. Now, the planetarium on board has the central dome that lowers over the front seats. If you sit in one of the red seats, they recline and allow you to have a view of the planetarium dome, and you can go on a wonderful journey through space and time thanks to the planetarium shows that they showcase in this space. As I mentioned, it's also a cinema, but my favourite use for this area is the lecture venue. It's a wonderful lecture venue with great sight lines. There's no obstructions, no pillars blocking the way, which is pretty remarkable from an engineering point of view, given it's right towards the bow of the ship. And it's also a fantastic space for the lecturer because I get an excellent view of the audience from that stage. You just get to see all the faces, you can see people are enjoying what you're talking about, and the crowd and the audience really goes with you. So I really love it here, and it's definitely one of the best spots on board the ship. And finally, my absolute favourite thing about Queen Mary 2, and I think it might be yours too if you go on board the ship, is the huge amount of open deck space throughout the ship. Not only does she have a full wraparound teakwood boat deck on deck 7, but she also has these magnificent aft terraced decks that just step down from the aft end of the ship towards the swimming pool on deck 6. And this allows you to have this wonderful vista over the aft of the ship. There's bars available so you can get a drink, you can watch the ship sail in or out of port, you can go up there and inspect what it looks like to be in the middle of the Atlantic. You can see the ocean to the horizon. It's just superb. On the top deck of the ship there is also more deck space, a little bit underutilized up there, but you will find some sporting facilities. When Queen Mary 2 first came into service, there was even a basketball court up there. I kind of wish they'd put it back because that would be a lot of fun, but you can find paddle tennis and also a golf driving range up the top. And another really special spot, actually there's two that I'll tell you about. One is just beneath the bridge, accessible in front of the Atlantic room from the twin elevators on the side of the ship. You can access this wonderful observation deck right at the top of the ship, and also far below on deck 7, just forward of the main walkway, you'll find a small door on the port and starboard side which will lead you out to the bow of the ship, and you can stand there and look out over the bow with the Queen Mary 2's spare propeller blades as your companions. They call them the captain's cufflinks because they look a little bit like cufflinks. Fun fact, Queen Mary 2's pods actually weigh the same weight as a Boeing 747 jet, and there are 4 of them. Yep, you heard that right. It's a bit strange, but there we go. These things are just absolutely massive. They're very, very heavy. They've got massive motors inside them. This video is brought to you by me and my new book, The Evolution of the Passenger Ship. In The Evolution of the Passenger Ship, we've brought years of research together to create a book that takes you on a journey from the earliest sailing ships right the way through to the modern behemoths that we see today. The Evolution of the Passenger Ship is available at all good bookshops, and if you buy a copy, you help us by supporting the channel. Thanks so much, and now back to the video. So those are my favourite things about Queen Mary 2, and you definitely should try it out. Queen Mary 2 is due for a mid-life refurbishment in the coming years, so it's anyone's guess what might change on board the ship once they do that big refit. Nothing's been released just yet, so hopefully she'll remain this wonderful ship that she is, but I would encourage you to give the ship a try now to see what she's like in the 21st century, a real, true, working ocean liner, the only one of her kind. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found the video interesting, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a like. If you're interested in more content like this, feel free to subscribe because we upload lots of stuff about cruising, ocean liners, maritime history, and ship tours and reviews. Thanks once again for watching, and until next time, I hope to see you on board.